Welcome to Pensare Basketball. The season is over. For a lot of teams, the season is still going. For the Detroit Pistons, the New York Knicks, who are currently playing right now, the Philadelphia 76ers, the San Antonio Spurs, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who just tipped off, the season is still ongoing. The Raptors, of course, wish their season was still going, but after a heartbreaking loss in Game 7, unfortunately, it's over. And unfortunately, when it's over, people need to answer questions. And this season doesn't feel like the same way that previous seasons have of like, what's the direction? Who are you building around? Who are your core guys? Do you plan to ever be good? When do you want to start competing? These redundant questions. There's always, I have to say, there's always a better exit interview after a good season. Guys are usually in better spirits. There's usually a lot of optimism. And frankly, this offseason is going to be packed. Not only for me, of course, as a content creator and a draft analyst and somebody who covers the Toronto Raptors, this is going to be a hype offseason. We're going to have draft breakdowns. We're going to have, summer updates of guys, playing pro-ams. We're going to see Scotty Barnes workout videos and be like, oh my God, is he turning into that version that we saw in the playoffs? He's going to do it permanently. That question was very front of mind for a lot of people right now is what have you seen from Scotty Barnes as the Raptors hit exit interviews? So in this video, we're going to look at the exit interviews. We're going to listen to Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Emanuel Quickley, Jakob Poeltl, Colin Murray-Boyles, who had just a big grin on his face the entire way through. And we are really going to break down what we're hearing here. A notable thing is that, Darko and Bobby will do their exit interview, I believe, tomorrow or the next day at some point. Once they've debriefed, once they've had a chance to talk to the players. It's also notable that Grady Dick did not have an exit interview because he was pretty much out of the rotation. And tomorrow's Members Live is going to be devoted to why I am not ready to give up on Grady Dick, bro. As somebody who was notoriously low on Grady, I have to say, I have been watching a lot of basketball throughout my life. I see the combination that this guy has. I'm just thinking to myself, if this guy was a college prospect, I'd be begging for him at 19 right now. He fits so many things that the Raptors need right now. He has so many skill sets that are missing from this team. Even if we're talking like baseline out of bounds plays, a player who can actually dribble, pass, shoot, 6'8" creator, uh, second side action, spacing. He does so many good things. And it's worth noting the Raptors were actually a better team with him on the court this year than off. So he only played about 900 meaningful minutes apart from garbage time, but the Raptors were actually better. So all of that data, analytics, film is going to come into tomorrow's Members Live. I apologize. I took a long time to just sleep today. I just had to get myself together. And, it's been a lot of long nights, man. It's been a lot of long nights looking at film and stuff. The Raptors, 7-game series against this Cleveland Cavaliers team was a dream come true for so many reasons. And there's been a lot of questions that have come out of it. What is the future of Brandon Ingram on this team? Do you extend RJ Barrett? Were we better without Emanuel Quickley? What do you do with Jakob Poeltl? Is he perma, perma destroyed, or is this just something that he's going to be able to recover from? Does he feel like he's about to just stagnate off a cliff right now? Are Brandon Ingram's best days behind him? How good can Colin Murray-Boyles be? Is Jakob Poeltl a permanent starter going forward? Can Jamal Shead ever figure out how to shoot? And most importantly, perhaps based on what you know about this roster and the strengths and weaknesses of it, where should you be targeting with pick 19? All of these things will be answered to some extent within this.
What is the feeling when it was wrapped up, and what's the feeling today?
Also, historically, when we play these videos, due to copyright and stuff, I usually just put something over it. Today, I'm just going to take the copyright strike. It's not a strike, but like a copyright hit. And I'm going to allow the Raptors or the NBA to monetize it. So this is going to be free. I'm not going to make any money off the stream because I just want y'all to be able to see the whole thing.
The day after, I know things move quickly.
Low-key wish that he maybe entered this with a little bit higher, more optimistic energy. He really seemed bummed. I had a chance to listen to his interview and Scotty's interview earlier. Yikes.
It's a little bit of sad, a little bit, we didn't know it would come so soon. It's just like an abrupt ending. So we, enjoyed each other on the plane last night. Played cards, listened to music, and just enjoyed the time. Our last time together before off-season came about. And yeah,
I think it's fair to say he is tired. These exit interviews happened very early in the morning. I can only imagine the Raptors probably got into Toronto around like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Probably like a lot of conversations. So this is more of a I went to sleep at 4 a.m., got woken up at 9 a.m. So maybe that's on the Raptors, but some people looked
just came
very
to
well
kind of
rested.
abrupt end.
Brandon, what was it about this year's group that felt so together? Because we followed you guys all season. It's clearly you guys really, really love each other.
But yeah, I think the way we had chemistry on the floor and off the floor, we were able to just communicate. And everybody really, really cared about the game of basketball, so that made it better. When we got on the floor, everybody worked really, really hard. And they asked questions, they looked for answers. Off the floor, we were sharing film, in the group chat heavy, and just communicating with the coaches.
Brandon, you obviously had your expectations of joining this organization, committing to that extension. How did having a whole season used to meet those expectations? What did you learn?
I think what I've learned is we needed everybody throughout this whole season, throughout the playoffs. Some of the guys that didn't play early on, they got a chance at the end of the year to show what they've been working on all year. I'm, happy that I was able to be healthy throughout most of the regular season. I think I played 77 or 79 games. It sucked not being in the playoffs and helping my team, especially Game 6, Game 7, being out there and trying to be effective for my teammates. But, I'm happy about being healthy most of the season.
Aside from you being hurt and not playing in the last two games, what did you see throughout the playoffs that gave you hope that maybe next time you can get over the hump with this group?
Just the experience. I think experience is the best teacher. And, we had guys go out there that just stepped up. Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Jacoby, CMB. I've seen a lot of guys step up to the challenge. And all year I got to see them work, and it definitely paid off when we got to the playoffs.
Brandon, how do you, throughout your career, measure success? And looking back on this season, do you feel like it was still successful? Obviously, disappointing result, but the steps you guys made as a team, you being healthier than you've been.
This is a really good question. Go up and down your roster and ask yourself who would Presti keep? He would keep Jacoby, he would keep Scotty, he would keep CMB. Beyond that, everybody would be up for sale. I think he would also keep Grady, personally. I think he would also look at Elijah Martin. They just feel like OKC type guys.
In the last couple of years, how do you measure that, and do you think the season was successful?
Yeah, I definitely thought the season was successful. I think every year is a learning year, and we made steps and strides throughout the year. I thought every player that stepped on the basketball floor was effective, whether it was defensively or offensively, and it showed. It showed leading up to the playoffs.
Yeah, can you walk us through the heel injury that you suffered, when it cropped up, and sort of how it affected you throughout the last couple of weeks of the regular season and also in the playoffs itself?
Yeah, it's something that I've been dealing with since, it flared up in March. And I really, didn't have no time to rest it. We were trying to make it to the playoffs, and,
Okay, so I've gone back and forth on how much I blame injuries for what he went through in the playoffs. and how much I blame him and the Raptors offense and the Cleveland defense. Like there is a concoction of or a combination of things that create the results where you look so bad. Like I have to point out right now, give me no pleasure to say Brandon Ingram had negative win shares in the playoffs. So personally, as a big picture Raptors guy who wants the Raptors to do well with their assets, I'm happy he's blaming the injury. I'm really happy that everybody's blaming the injury. I'm happy you didn't put him out there in game 6 and game 7 to completely cost you the series, because I have to tell you, if he hadn't played these playoffs and you go down in 4 games or something like that, I think his contract value and his trade asset, like trade value, is a lot higher. Now, if you're not looking to trade him, none of this matters, because asset value really just locks in when you want to change the asset or trade the asset. So it doesn't really matter if you've kind of already relegated yourself or committed yourself to the idea that he's going to be here long term and you're not really too concerned about how the league feels about him. But if you are concerned with how the league feels about him, if you're looking to make upgrades this offseason, dude, you better drum up that injury. You better talk about that injury. Bring him out in a walking boot. Like, bro, do whatever you got to do. LeBron it up.
You know, coming off last season playing 18 games, I really prided myself on trying to be out there every single.
That's right. 18 games to what he played this year? 77 games. Bro, that's like almost that's over a 400% improvement, right? So that's how we got it. That's like, oh, Brandon Ingram injury issues? Fuck that. Fuck that noise. Nope. Brandon Ingram, great asset. Totally worth $40 million.
Night. And, you know, it got to a point where, you know, got to a discomfort that, you know, where I couldn't push off of it, or
Yep. Can't push off. Can't deal with the top blocking. Can't look, me personally, honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all, I want to say like the injury was like 20%, in my opinion, of why he struggled in the playoffs. He struggled in the playoffs because he's very predictable. He needs to get better. So I'm happy that he's telling the media this, but I really hope he's not telling himself this.
couldn't do the things on the floor that I needed to do to be effective. And, you know, going out and was that game 5 or game 6, going out in the game, you know, I went to the back and, you know, I was trying to do some things to come back. I wanted to come back, and the medical staff kind of ruled me out because they were trying to save me from myself a little bit. So
This is amazing. I loved that he said this. The medical staff saved me from myself. I didn't quit on my team, which is very important. Okay, this is very, very important because that narrative is very toxic. I didn't quit on my team. The medical staff held me out. I was trying to play. I wanted to help my team win. I could have gone, but they said, no, Brandon Ingram, we got to save you from yourself. This is great. This is great. I don't know who coached him to say this, but this is great. And honestly, I hope it's true. I'm going to assume positive intent. I'm going to assume 90% of what he's saying right now is true. Nobody is 100% honest in these settings, but I'm going to assume 90% of what he's saying is true. That he could have gone out, that they asked him, how does this feel, that feel? And he said, no, I can't do this, can't do that. And they're just like, nope, it's better that you rest. And you know what? You could look at it different ways. The Raptors were actually a better team in the playoffs with him off the floor. So he might have done them a favor. I don't know. Look at it that way.
You know, that was frustrating. I definitely wanted to be out there with my team, but, you know, that kind of build up since March kind of held me out.
Do you feel like the series would have been different if you and IQ were healthy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually we had that conversation last night. You know, he just walked up to me and was like, "How you feeling, bro?" I was like, "I'm cool." He was like, "Shit suck, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." But I think it definitely would have been different if we were out there.
Brandon,
Scotty Barnes is going to be asked about a very similar question. Nikola Jokic was also asked about this question. I really prefer the way that Scotty and Jokic answer this question as opposed to Brandon Ingram. The what ifism is irrelevant to me. You have no idea the type of team you would have played or been had you guys been out there. It's nice to think that you would have been better, you could have been better, but the fact is you weren't. Donovan Mitchell was also banged up. So I don't know.
You touched on it a little bit, but as a competitor, what was it like for you not being able to get into game 6 and 7?
I mean, it sucked, you know, mostly because I wanted to be there for my teammates. And I thought I could be effective in some way. So, you know, I didn't feel great about it.
Brandon, what stands out to you about the way Darko builds the culture here, and was there anything in particular that stood out during the playoffs?
He was passionate throughout the whole year. I think every single day that he came here, he was pretty consistent in his message and what he was trying to get across, the way that he touches players and makes them go on the defensive and offensive side of the basketball. He made all of us think, stay focused, and, you know, stay prepared for the next moment.
I know the heel's bothering you now, but last year you were still trying to work your way back last offseason from a major injury. Like, do you feel like this summer's gonna be a lot different, just not having to go through that again? Like, how much does it change your summer not being in that position as last year?
Well, most of my summer last year was just rehab, you know, trying to get back on the floor and trying to be healthy enough to play. And this summer, you know, I get to go work on the things that I didn't think went so well this season. I get to go get stronger. I get to go do a lot of different things. So it's way different than last year.
This is really good to hear. Honestly, so much of last year came back to rehab for him. There's been a long standing rumors about him in New Orleans that he always took longer than everyone else wanted him to come back from injuries. So the fact that you know, he was able to be healthy for most of the season is a huge testament to his strength and conditioning, and also the Raptors conditioning staff that, you know, Scotty always gives them a lot of credit. But I got to say, like, an off season where you enter that off season healthy is so productive. So I am really just happy. I think Karen Hall mentioned this yesterday. She said, we've avoided any catastrophic injuries, and now we get to walk into the off season healthy. This is a huge thing. Now, obviously, Emanuel Quickley is going to talk about his injury later. His injury seems a little bit more serious. He was doubtful to come back even in round 2 had the Raptors made it. So maybe he's going to have a month of rehab. And hopefully that isn't a lingering issue, because that is a guy who very much relies on his quickness. And if he loses that quickness, yeah, that 32 about to look hella bad.
When you reflect back on your own year, like, what are some of the things that you're proud of from yourself this season?
Just being healthy, going out on the floor, having fun, having some moments where, you know, I felt like myself. I felt explosive on the floor. And just having a chance to come in my first year and build with my teammates and having a winning season.
Specifically your game on the court, like joining this team and taking on the role you did with the Raptors, how do you feel like your game itself developed the most here?
Playing off the basketball, it made me figure out my way of how to get open, how to be effective off the basketball. And defensively, you know, coach challenged me to, you know, get my hands on deflections, being on the help side, guard the basketball. I think I just got better in those aspects.
How would you describe your experience as a Toronto Raptor and feeling and seeing the support of the fans this season?
It was fun, you know, seeing the fans in the regular season, seeing the fans in the playoffs. Everywhere that I went outside of the building, it was, you know, it was always love. So I look forward to that in the next season. And, you know, I know they'll be with us every step of the way. They were with us on the road doing playoff games, doing some of the regular season games, and we loved it.
Yeah. Do you think the comments after game 1 kind of like took on a life of its own narratively?
Yeah, but
That's a really good question, William Lou.
what else do you expect, you know?
Obviously, not.
What a stupid response. You were clearly in the wrong. what else do you expect? Like, how is it somebody else's fault that you decided to do that? I'm sorry. That is a complete lack of accountability. I just want to point to Brandon Ingram talking about deflections. Bro, you fourth percent in the league in deflections, fourth percentile. Rim defense and rim frequency, however, was a massive improvement. This is a career high across the board for him. Load and creation is actually a career low, at least from his prime. Shot quality was very reasonable. True shooting percentage could obviously get a lot higher. 3-point attempt rate is the gap here. Passer rating was disappointing. So if I look at Brandon Ingram holistically on the season, he had a very mediocre season. This is not a successful season. He is not the single biggest reason that the Raptors elevated themselves from the doldrums and the basement of the Eastern Conference and vaulted themselves into a playoff team. This is not the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is Brandon Ingram is learning how to be a better, more complete basketball player. He got tons of usage in spot up, transition, isolation, pick and roll ball handler, post ups. We got a little bit of cutting. We need a lot more cutting, right? In terms of his defensive matchups, he guarded twos, he guarded threes primarily, and a little bit of four as well, sometimes five. This is the Raptors way. So look, this is year one of Brandon Ingram in Toronto. He's 28 years old. By 29, hopefully you unlock a better version of this. And a better version of this is going to look specifically as 15th to 25th percentile in deflections, easily. Keep this rim defense up. Keep the rim frequency up. Keep that block percentage up. Versatility, that's exactly where it needs to be. In terms of passer rating, I need this to go up to at least the 70th percentile. Portability, I need that to go up to at least the 65th percentile. Offensive rebounding rate, that's going to be where it's going to be. 3-point attempt rate, I need that to go up to at least, 40th percentile, bro. Like, that's the biggest jump. Just take more threes. Stop taking so many midi turnarounds. And in terms of true shooting percentage, there's no reason why, if this guy actually bought into the offense, that he couldn't be 60% true shooting. Do all of that, and your shot quality by osmosis is going to go up to about the 82nd percentile. Then you will have an actual all-star. You know what the funny thing is? He's talented enough to be an all-star every single year, but he plays probably the worst brand of basketball of anyone on this team. And that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, and you wanted what's sort of the feeling in the aftermath, just how fast things kind of change.
Obviously it's like frustrating because we felt like we had something. We felt like we had a chance. We even like past this series, it felt like we could have like gone on a run here, but comes down to one game, and I guess we just didn't have enough yesterday. They outplayed us in a couple areas, now we gotta look into the future and see what we can do better next year.
When you think about, I know it obviously just happened recently, when you said it there, like think about what we can do better next year, reflecting on it, is there stuff that immediately pops out to you that you think this team needs to improve upon right away?
I think honestly, there's going to be specific things that we need to get better at as a team. But I think the main thing for us to like really take the next step is like going to be individual improvements, like for every player, and then like just working on the way we kind of play off of each other on the.
I think he, more than anyone, would benefit from an actual point guard who can shoot. Like, he doesn't have one. He has an off guard who can shoot in Emanuel Quickley, who he works with. He has a point guard who can't shoot in Scotty Barnes, and another point guard who really can't shoot in Jamal Shed. Fred VanVleet is his ideal teammate. There's definitely some GM out there in the world who understands that, and hopefully it's your GM, Bobby Webster. The Raptors have done Jakob Poeltl no favors, other than the contract. They gave him a contract for sure. That's a favor. But in terms of roster build, this dude is a much better basketball player than he's shown himself to be. The back injuries be damned. The Raptors are a better team when Jakob Poeltl is a better player. As simply put, they need to utilize him more, but he needs to get stronger. He needs to get better. He needs to get healthier. It's important. All of it's important. But this idea that Jakob Poeltl is suddenly just like some replacement level center, y'all got to be kidding me. Like, please stop. Like, you can't just throw any random 7-footer out there in playoff basketball and win +9 in game 7. Like, he's not great, but he's definitely not as bad as y'all think he is.
Court, like just like with time and experience, like learning how like your tendencies of your teammates, like what they like and don't like how we can share the court together and be effective together in the best way possible. I think those kinds of things are gonna show the most improvement for us going forward.
The rebounding battle was more clearing yesterday in yesterday's game, but apparently this series all along the Cleveland Cavaliers out rebounded you guys most of the time. What do you think that is? Was it just because of their size, or was it because something that you could have done better?
Man, it's tough. Like, yes, they're like an athletic team. They got a lot of size, but I think in general they just like were crashing very consistently from basically every position. And I think also with our focus on like Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, like we had guys like hugged up on them like a lot of the times, which gave the other guys more freedom to crash. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, like that was our game plan to try to like limit them, and the rest of us just needed to pick up the slack and like worry about our individual assignments, like especially on the offensive glass. Like they hurt us on with the bigs, they hurt us with the guards on the glass. Like it was kind of like a collective effort for them, and we just needed to step up in those individual situations a little bit more.
Yak is one of the veterans.
I just want to be clear, this is the lowest worst rim defense he's ever had. Ever. This is the worst offensive season he's ever had. Like maybe since he was in year 2, year 3. This season is a monumental, like overall disappointment for Jakob Poeltl. He massively underperformed the contract that he was on, much less the contract that he just signed. It's dire, but hopefully this is the bottom. You know what I mean? There's this idea that when a guy goes from 29 to 30 and has like a really bad year, that it's like, uh-oh, here comes the cliff. And that may very well be the case. I'm not sitting here advocating that Jakob Poeltl is going to have a great year next year. I have no idea. I certainly hope it's better than what he did this year, though. I really do. His rim defense has been on a decline for like 3 years, 4 years now. The Raptors bought a declining asset. Athletically speaking, he was way more athletic at 24 than he was at 27. So their hope was that his game could expand as a playmaker, as a hub, as a screener, as a rebounder, that even if he wasn't as switchable, that he would still be able to provide value because he's huge. He's a huge human being. He needs to get stronger, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty confirmed on that.
On the team, how impressed were you with the way the young guys from Jamal to Jacoby to AJ Lawson and Jameson, that like the way they stepped up and showed that medal?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did an amazing job, honestly. We could have easily, just kind of gave up in the series. Like we didn't have Quick, we didn't have BI for a lot of the series. Like even when he was playing, like he was always like struggling with his health a little bit. So yeah, like easily could have been like, we just have 2 of our main guys out. Let's just do our best. But like we had a lot of the young guys step up in very important moments, and for pretty much all of them, it was like their first playoff experiences out there, and for them to like step up in that matter is really impressive. Just going out there and like playing our brand of basketball, not hiding from anything or anyone, just going out there being aggressive, it was good to see. It fills me with confidence for the future. I think it was good for those guys to have those kind of experiences early on in their career, and hopefully they can build on it.
Yeah, specifically for the future, when you look towards next season, obviously there's really strong starting 5, but to maybe have some questions answered in terms of what the depth could look like moving forward. How much does that encourage you?
Yeah, like I said, it's very encouraging. I think that's kind of like when you look at like really good teams, like teams that have won championships in the past, like they have like a solid core of like players who are kind of proven or
I agree, and that's exactly why I think the Raptors need to, continue to knock it out of the park in the draft, continue to make consolidation trades because depth really was the reason the Raptors lost the series, if we're being honest. Like, you just didn't have anything. AJ Lawson, respect to AJ Lawson, shout outs to AJ Lawson. He did a good job. He should not be playing playoff minutes for a team, and then the other side, they're bringing Max Strus, Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, all guys who've got like major playoff minutes, and you're having to go to Jameson Battle and AJ Lawson because you haven't developed that part of your bench yet. So a good team really does run 12 deep, and then guys 13, 14, and 15 are specialists or, high level prospects. I don't think the Raptors are there yet, but there's a chance that, if Grady is a better player next year, if Jameson is a better player next year, if one of Jonathan Mobo or Elijah Martin pop, like, you have some very, very cheap players who could be serviceable for you. I think they've put a lot of work into their development. Last couple of lives been talking a lot about the Raptors development. So, and then also like Trace, like who knows? Who knows what happens with Trace? I think he's had some really good moments, but the last 2 years have been a little bit rougher for him. And to see him just completely out of the lineup when the Raptors desperately needed rebounding, like, that was disappointing to me. I certainly am not as high on him as I was on someone like Daron Sharp, but I still see him as a serviceable big man. Like, I think he's an NBA player. Like, he should be a rotation big. He's certainly a hell of a lot better than whatever the hell you saw in Kem Birch, right? So the fact that, the Raptors just very randomly select like who can and who can't play, and it's like the analytics don't back it up, the eye test don't back it up. Darko's just, he has his guys. Like, that guy can play, that guy can't play for me. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Trace can, extend his career in Toronto beyond this year because he has a team option. And they may not pick it up, which would be really weird because they gave up a second round pick for him.
Whatever, but then you kind of need those first, second, third year guys that are like on their rookie contract still, that are like kind of like coming up and become X factors that give you like major roles, like sometimes even step into like starting lineups, like stuff like that. So yeah, I think we have a few guys in there that can really change games for us. So having that is very important. Yeah.
Jakob, how was the season for you in terms of like, you came into it with the back issue like even before training camp started, and it kind of like lingered through a lot of the season. How did you manage sort of not just physically but emotionally throughout this year?
Deep breaths, man. Deep breaths.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy. Like, I just did a lot of work trying to like stay positive through tough times. Did some work with our like mental health team on the team, like especially during those periods where it was kind of like unclear like how the back would develop. Would it get better? Would it get worse? Like, it was kind of like on a daily basis. Those times weren't easy for me, like, because I didn't have like a clear timeline like you would have with other injuries. But I think, like, looking back on it, I think we managed it pretty well. Obviously, I would have liked to play more games this season, but yeah, now all we can really do is like try to be better for the future.
Do you imagine this is like a recurring thing that like, or maybe with the offseason?
I mean, I honestly don't know. It's definitely something that I'm going to have to continuously like work on for the rest of my career, like probably even like past that, just to keep it contained as much as possible. But I also saw that for big chunks of the season, like it wasn't impacting me negatively at all. So I'm pretty confident that it's not going to be an issue long term. It's just going to be something that I'm going to have to like continuously work on.
Does that include the playoffs? Like, if you weren't thinking about the playoffs, it felt good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it felt good. Like, if anything, like early on in the season, like it was a little bit more of an issue, but like towards the back end, like it was fine.
Was there a moment during the season you felt the team was really clicking? You guys were working well together and had that good chemistry?
I mean, I think for the most part during the season, we had really good chemistry. Like, we've always kind of prided ourselves on like being very together, like play style wise, and also like off the court, like as a unit, like just being like a close knit type of group. I can't point to like one specific moment, but we've had plenty of games this season where we fought back into games, like really like showed some grit, and like even in the playoffs, like we had against the Cavs, we had some games where we really had to show that we can dig deep and try and come back in games and like do it together as a team.
No, he's fitting.
Scotty,
Your boy, Scotty Barnes. Cool.
I don't know, it's like really fresh, but looking back on the season, like how do you choose to define success, and do you feel like the season was successful? I know Dark always says it's about the work and not the outcomes, but now that obviously it's over, like do you feel like the season ended up being successful for you guys?
Successful? I don't know about successful, but it was a good season for us. I felt like we went out there every single game and we just got better. Found out more about ourselves after each and every single game. And, we worked really hard. So to say that and felt like we worked really hard and didn't leave nothing on the table, it felt like we had a solid season.
Scotty, how do you define success
For
the season? Like, would it be like
team or
for the team?
team? Just sticking to our standard. For the team aspect, success for our team, sticking to our standard, sticking to the way that we play, and I feel like we did that. So, like I said, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was successful, because obviously we felt like we could have did better and went pretty farther than what we went. But, we stuck to our standards. We played super hard. We played aggressive. We had a defensive mindset the whole year on how we want to attack the ball and how we want to create havoc on defense. And we stuck to that, and we felt like we did a great job at it.
I was saying that he felt like he talked to Quick and they were saying if they were playing, it could have been different. Is that how you felt too? Like,
Nope.
obviously, two big guys.
Obviously, having those two guys out there, it would still be very different for us. But can't really think about that and the what ifs. But we went out there, fought hard, competed,
Respect.
felt like we could have got it.
You gotta love that, right? You can't think about the what ifs. No, you really can't. You really can't be in the what ifism right now. You didn't get it done, and that's what it is, and that's all it is. Like coulda, woulda, shoulda. This loser mentality. I like that my franchise player doesn't have that mentality personally. I sometimes have that mentality. I'm trying to get better at it, but yeah, it's not good.
Feel like their home court advantage, it helped those guys and build their energy. Obviously, guys on that team stepped up pretty big. Different guys in different games, they contributed. Max Juice was huge for them off the bench. Sam Merrill was great for them, making shots. Dennis was great off the bench for them. And guys like that, affect the game and could change the series.
Scotty, how did it feel to be, obviously when you played in the playoffs, like you're on national TV like every single game, and you had guys like Charles.
This is my favorite answer. I actually heard this and I was just like, I was about to clap. I was just like, yup. I 100% agree with this.
Barkley even saying like you're a top 15 player to finally get that kind of recognition nationally. How did that feel from your perspective?
To be honest, I didn't really see all the social media stuff. But I just was going out there just trying to win.
My boy said, I was in dark mode. I don't care. That's perfect. That's what you want. You don't want someone being like, yeah, I finally got my respect. That's Jaylen Brown mentality. Do you realize Jaylen Brown won a championship with the Boston Celtics and had the nerve to come out and say that this was his favorite season? If my franchise player ever did that, I would trade him. No lie, I would trade him on the spot.
My mindset was just, for myself personally, I want to be great. So, and that requires winning. So, try and do whatever it takes to win and go out there and try to be myself at the best of my abilities. Just be super aggressive, attack the rim. I think people saw it. I was attacking the rim with very aggressive. I was getting to my midi. I was playmaking at a high level, rebounding, pushing, and I think it was just all being seen.
Do you feel like this class was like the run where you put everything that you've been working on together on full display?
No, because like I said, we could have went farther, but I don't really know about that perspective. But like I said, I was just going out there trying to win, playing my game, playing super hard, being physical, just trying to limit those two main guys and still try to help at the same time. We're doing a lot of different things, but that's what it requires. At the end of the day, like I said, I was just trying to make winning plays and trying to win.
Scotty, what kind of growth did you see over the second series for guys like Jamal and CMB?
Like, I'm not really surprised that these guys did it.
Always praising the teammates and appreciate that too. For sure.
I see the work that Jamal, Jacoby, and CMB put in every single day. I think if you see in the regular season, CMB numbers on the defensive side and how much he helped our team throughout the whole season, we know how much of a force his physicality, what he can do for our team when he's out there on the floor. Jamal, his playmaking ability, getting people to the spot, is being aggressive on defense. He's going to different assignments throughout the game. Jacoby shooting the ball. We seen how since All-Star break he was the best shooter in the NBA. So he's shooting lights out, playing defense, getting steals, guarding at a high level. It's no surprise to me. I see these guys do this day in, day out, every single game, going on to the next game. We're watching film together. We're building this thing up day by day. And every game, like I said, we just get better. We're getting better.
For yourself personally, like whether it's throughout the season or the playoffs, what part of your game do you felt like grew the most?
Grew the most? You said throughout the season?
Yeah, or even just throughout the playoffs. Like if you look back on your season, what part of the basketball skills grew the most?
I'd just say the difference between probably the regular season and the playoffs, for me personally, was just the level of aggression that I was playing with. Not on the defense side, I always play super aggressive, but just putting myself in offense more, just trying to go get the ball and playing downhill with crazy force and speed, running transition every single play. That was just like a different level for me, I feel like.
And like, is it just a matter of like flipping the switch mentally, or like when you say like being more aggressive and finding those opportunities, what helps you accomplish that?
Definitely flip my mentality. Like I said, if you want to be great, you got to win. And my mindset, I was trying to go out there and win, and we needed it. The way that they were guarding B.I., they wasn't really allowing him to get catches. So, I just knew we had to do something different.
He sounds different. I mean, he always sounds real confident and shit, but he sounds like a different dude right now. It's great to see.
It takes a lot of force, a lot of effort, a lot of speed, doing it on both ends, but that's what it's going to require. So I was just trying to do the best I could.
Sorry. Coach Darkus says you've only reached 60% of your potential. Where do you see sort of that 40% that you can kind of improve?
A lot of people were asked about this question. How they answered it told me a lot about who they are.
Yourself.
I don't know. Darko, he's really high on me. His vision and what he sees in me is really high. But I don't think I tapped into what I can be either. We still got a long ways to go, and I know I can just keep growing from here on both ends of the floor. And
I think a lesser player would have taken this opportunity to victory lap, say snippy things like, they said I won this, they said I won that, and blah, blah, blah. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. I did that. I'm 38 years old. I did that. This guy's 24 years old. He didn't do that. He's a good person, man.
And, every year I'm just going to continually get better. I got a lot to my game that I know I can get into.
I feel like this group needs like a lot of help. If it comes back like the same next year, you feel confident just the development of being able to take the next step, or there's a lot of help needed, or?
For sure. I feel very confident in the guys that we got out there on the floor. We got some dogs out here. Play super hard, play super physical. They're super confident in their game on both ends of the floor, and everything it takes. Like I said, we felt like we could have got much farther than what we got, and that would have been a totally different conversation, and people would have started seeing stuff different. But unfortunately, it didn't go the way it went. But I feel like we're gonna be back. We're gonna be better. We got a long ways to go, but we took a direction, the right step. I took a step in the right direction. I meant.
You mentioned multiple times about expecting to go further. Having a season like this, what type of expectation does it create in your mind for next season?
Every season is different. To be honest, anything can happen. You never know what's gonna happen. Injuries is a part of the game. Things just happen throughout the season. So, not really thinking about that right now. Obviously, as well. But we'll see. We'll see.
Scotty, Yak had a up and down season with his back injuries and the stuff that he was doing.
I also really love this answer.
Not being able to play all the games that he wanted to play. At that center position, where do you see the future for this team being, especially the way he played in the playoffs and stuff?
Me personally, I think Yak was unbelievable for us. Yak helps me in so many different ways. His screens, the way he finds spots on the floor for me, when I'm able to make those playmaking plays, and his touch around the rim. We need Yak on this team. Yak is so important for us. Rebounding, his touch around the rim, us being able to talk and communicate with him, to know what spots and tell people how he feels out there on the floor as well. Especially that last game, I felt like he should have been out. Me personally, I think he should have been out there more. But he's instrumental for our team, and we need him.
RJ,
I really like that. Again, I always bring it back to would you want to be this guy's teammate or not? You would really want to be the teammate of a guy who, after your struggles, will come out and defend you this way. That's awesome. That's awesome. He's not defending a kid here. He's defending a 30 vet. So,
Darko has always said it's less about the outcomes and more about the work, and that's his way of defining progress and success. How do you choose to measure success? And looking back on this season, do you think it was a successful season?
Obviously, always the end goal is to win a championship, But I think from where we were last year till now has been a huge, huge jump. So it's successful in that, but also because I think that you can kind of see just the work that's put in and where we can go in the future. I think that the future is very bright for us, and it's only the beginning.
Scotty said he feels like you guys have what you need here. Is that how you feel as well?
Absolutely, and to be able to do what, even when we did take a good team like that to 7 games without our starting point guard, then BI goes down, it just shows.
Nah, you had your starting point guard, but okay.
How good our team is.
How much of an expectation does a season like this create for next season and for the years to come?
I think it creates a little bit of expectation, which is good. We've shown how good we are, so now we're going to be held to that standard, as we should, and that's what you want as a competitor. I'd definitely rather not be sitting at home, during the playoffs and wondering if they're going to draft somebody and take my job and stuff. so yeah, I think it's good expectations.
What do you think you guys learn most about each other and about your capabilities?
We play hard. We play extremely hard. And teams do not like playing against us. I know that.
That's facts.
RJ, you talked about the hurt that was felt last night. I was just wondering if you could take us maybe into what that entails over there. What if the BI and IQ being healthy, or what if in game scenario?
Yeah. Man, the fact that we're here right now, this all has happened really fast. Haven't even really had time to process everything yet. But at think over the course of, I know me personally, I'm gonna take a couple days and then I'll start watching, just the series and start watching some stuff. And I think us as a whole, we're just gonna continue to do what we've been doing, which is coming together, working in the summer, staying connected. It's like a family over here, and it's amazing. I think that's a big part of the reason why we do so well, because we trust each other. We play hard for each other. Everybody, we got each other's back.
When you talk about how hard you guys play and how the team's got facing you guys, how important is it to have the depth to be able to sustain that for 48 minutes? When Darko was saying maybe there were a couple of
Yeah, well, you look at like Cleveland, who has a bunch of guys that have playoff experience. James Harden's been in the playoffs like 17 years in a row, so they're obviously conditioned for that, and that's just something we got to get to. So we know how we feel right now, and going into the summer, we know what it takes. Sometimes that happens. I'm not saying that we're the Pistons, but look at Detroit last year, then they lost in the first round, and then look at them this year. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good step. It's a step in the right direction.
I know you said a shoot around yesterday that you weren't trying to focus on the shot that you hit in Game 6. I don't know if you got a chance to maybe watch it over or even think about it now, because you know how awesome a moment it was, man.
Yeah, like I said, I still haven't really processed stuff. And I don't really think I personally understand the magnitude of that shot right now, just because, I don't know, I feel like when you're playing, it's a little different, especially for me. I'm in a playoff mode, so right now I kind of just feel weird because I feel like I should still be playing. So, I haven't had time to process. But I think also just the way that the shot was, with the ball bouncing so high up in the air like that, it's crazy. And I hadn't made anything for 12 minutes straight.
I'm glad you acknowledged that.
So that was that's a cool shot. I'm definitely gonna start watching it more now that the season's over. So yeah, I could probably give you a better answer and later on.
What kind of reaction did you get from other former teammates or players around the league?
So my phone went crazy, so it was definitely a good shot. I'm definitely thankful I made that shot. That's cool. That's something. When you get old, be like, yeah, I did that right there. So that would be something cool later on for sure.
What was your first kind of playoff experience like in Toronto or in Canada?
Yeah.
Something you obviously look forward to for a long time. Let's go through it.
Man, the fans are insane over here. It's it's the best thing ever.
Facts. Absolutely.
Definitely helped us, win our games at home. And it's great to play for an organization where, the people care, fans supporting all the whole MLSC, everybody supporting us. It was great. This is something great to be a part of, for sure.
On that point, people talk about teams having the home court advantage. Do you feel like if you had been playing at home yesterday in Game 7, things would have been different?
Yeah, for sure. You're able to see what we did at home the whole series, and I think the one that hurts is Game 5. That's the one. That was the one right there, Game 5. But it's something for us to learn. We haven't won a playoff game on the road yet, so going into next year, I'm sure that'll be another step that we have to take.
For yourself personally on the basketball court, how do you feel like you grew the most this season?
Efficiency. I think this was my most efficient season or whatever so far. So yeah, just growing in that way, knowing how to be successful with less. You had a guy like Brandon Ingram into the mix. trying to play off of him and Scotty, and Quick's a point guard, so he has the ball a lot. Just trying to find where I fit in on both sides of the basketball. Yeah, I think I just grew in my ability to be efficient, my ability to do more with less, or do more in a different way, play more defense, guard the center, guard the point guard. It doesn't matter. I think it's a luxury that I have, and it's a luxury that we have on this team to be able to kind of play positionless.
RJ, you obviously had different playoff experiences. I was just wondering this specific series. Is there anything, in terms of adjustments that they made to you that you want to look at the summer and say, okay, this is something that I'm going to take away. They're not going to be able to do this to me.
I'm probably gonna, like I said, I'm gonna take a couple days, watch some stuff, see what happened, especially last night's game, and kind of go from there. Every summer I try to add something, try to be better in one or multiple areas. So yeah, I think this summer will be good. I'm a hard worker, so I'm gonna come back better again next year. And yeah, just really excited for that.
How do you do with
Will and then official.
Yeah, I was gonna ask them. A lot of young guys played. It's a lot of the playoffs with a lot of these young guys. How proud were you of all these guys and sort of what they were able to show in a big setting?
Man, they did an amazing job, especially for their first playoff experience. They just play so hard. I think when you get lost in the game, playing hard, playing defense, it kind of just gives you that juice, and I think that definitely propelled them. But they're dogs, man. They're ready for the moment. It's great to see. It's great to be a part of. I'm happy for them, and they're just going to continue to get better. So with our team and the way that we work, I always know we have a chance.
So specifically just with AJ, because you and AJ, you've grown up together. I mean,
The defense needs to get a lot better, man. A lot better. I'm not even trying to shit on it. It needs to get a lot better. It did get a lot better in the playoffs, though, so he needs to build on that. But if he's going to be your small ball power forward as a defensive identity, that is going to be a really, really, really tough thing to withstand long term, in my humble opinion. You're losing a lot of rim protection with this guy. He is not a good rim protector at all, and he's not supposed to be. That's not really his job. But at the same time, if this is going to be a guy who's going to be surviving minutes on the court for you, you're going to have to find a way to use him without killing your entire team. And I think he landlocks a lot of your better defenders into more difficult matchups because of his limitations defensively. But yes,
there was a moment you guys shared the floor.
Yeah.
In Game 7.
Mm.
He made that huge play, pressuring Dennis in Game 6 as well, or Game 5 as well. Game 6.
Game 6, yeah.
Just how proud are you of your brother there?
No, my guy La. I've known La since 3rd grade, so definitely to be out there with him. It's always a pleasure. It's great. It's my guy. It's great to see him every day. Just be able to talk to him. We understand kind of the same things about playing for this team. So it's good to have my brother around, man. And I'm just happy that he's been able to, get his shine a little bit and show what he could do. Because he killed it in the G League this year. And then he was big time for us when he played.
RJ, how do you deal with the business side going to a contract year? Are you hoping to get something worked out long term? What's your mindset heading into the summer?
What do you think? I think that this is an easier question for me to answer because I'm from here, and who doesn't want to play at home? So, of course, I'm trying to stay here. I understand the business, but I want to stay here. I have no problem saying that. I want to be here. I want to be here for the rest of my career. I don't ever want to leave. I don't have any problems openly saying that. So that's out of my control. I've done my part on the court this year, and I will continue to do my part. And just hope things work out that way.
Jack, en français, s'il vous plaît, quel souvenir vous allez garder de cette saison et de ces playoffs?
The game, playing hard,
on est excité pour qu'est-ce qu'on va faire.
As the season was going along, when did you really start to understand how effective you could be at this level, and what does it kind of make you encouraged about now that you're heading into your first offseason?
That's a great question. I don't really know. Hey, it's a long season, but I will say as the season progressed from my start in summer league to where I'm at now, it's been a tremendous jump, tremendous experience. Really can't thank the coaches and the players and everybody involved in the organization enough for what they've done for my first year. I wasn't expecting it to go like this, but it was really good for me. But definitely found that impact fairly early on, just knowing what I can do, knowing what my energy brings to the team, playing hard, and what that does for us. So just trying to do that more next year, try to be more impactful.
You said you didn't think it would go like this. Were you a little bit more modest in your expectations?
I was more, I'll say, yeah. I was just, being very humble of myself, just not really
Big smile.
trying to put too many high expectations and just try to play my game and see how it goes from there. But yeah, it was good.
Last summer would have been, I imagine, such a whirlwind for you getting drafted and then coming in and learning the new team. How much are you looking forward to having this full off-season to work on your game, and how much more productive do you think it'll be now that you've gotten settled as an NBA player?
It'll do tremendous wonders for me. I feel like we have 5 months to just get better. And just work. That's going to be a lot of time for me to work on a lot of things that obviously me and the coaches have talked about. Obviously, I don't have to think about as much as I did last summer. Obviously, I know what the plan is for this team. I know what we're trying to achieve, and just keeping that same work ethic that I kept throughout this whole season, and just trying to get as good as possible for next season.
Beyond what the coaching staff said, did the playoffs give you any insight as to what's really important to either add or refine in your game?
Yeah, not so much add. It's more mental, I would say. That playoff experience just showed me what it takes to actually be competitors and contenders at that. It just takes a lot more mental than I would say skill. Obviously, you just have to follow, scout, and just be more locked in on that aspect of the game. Obviously, offense comes just playing as hard as possible. It's a lot of small things that, push a team ahead. So a lot of things that I've seen that everybody, obviously have a young team, everybody can learn from this experience and just be better next year.
Colin, is there any one person on this roster you've taken from the most in terms of daily habits and routines?
It's sprinkled in from everybody, literally. This team is built off of good habits. I don't think there's anybody that has bad habits on the team. So it's been a little bit of everybody. Obviously, our main guys just being leaders in their own way, showing us the ropes. GT's definitely been a very vocal person for everybody. But yeah, everybody's done their part in teaching me how to be a professional, teaching me how to be an NBA player. So.
What's maybe the biggest thing that you've added, from your college routine to the NBA now that you've picked up?
I don't know. College routine? I don't even think I had a routine in college. Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing that's
you can understand why he's such an automatic fan favorite. You totally can.
stuck from me from college to now is just trying to stay as level-headed as possible. I feel like especially now is amplified because everybody's eyes are on you, and you're under a microscope here. So just try to stay as level-headed as possible. I'm not really focused on outside sources and really just sticking to what people in my circle is telling me, and the only things should make me improve. So.
On that point, what's been the adjustment lifestyle-wise, going from college to moving to Toronto? It's your first time actually living outside the U.S. and maybe away from your family. I know your brother comes with you a lot, but you're still apart from your crew. Just take us through the lifestyle adjustment of being a rookie.
Well, it's a lot more time compared to college. I had schoolwork and study halls and all that. So I have a lot more time on my hands to just, get my mind off of things. Obviously, these games move by pretty fast, and we're traveling a lot. So just trying to find as much downtime as possible to just calm down and just reset, because you don't really have that much time to reset in season. It's been very basic, though. I enjoy more time to myself, obviously. I don't miss the schoolwork. So it's definitely been good for me, but it definitely made me learn a lot about myself as well. So I like what I had this first year.
And also just, we always see you working before the game with Evo. Like you guys are just always going through like elaborate workouts together. Can you take us through like what it's like to work with him? What have you guys been working on, and just that experience of working so closely with
It's amazing. He's done a really good job with me. He's just a very intense coach. I feel like that's what I need. I'm somebody that could really push me to be better, and always brings really good energy. He always says that our energies bounce off of each other, and that only makes both of us better at the same time. So he's been really good in that aspect, and what we've been doing in pregame literally shows up in every game. So he's been really good.
You really gotta love it, man. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go overboard on how somebody speaks, but how someone speaks is very often a reflection of how they think. And if how he's speaking is a reflection of how he's thinking, then you're in very good hands.
Your thumb injury, you didn't seem to be
Yeah.
much in the playoffs. Is it healed? Does it require surgery? Is it where is it with that?
It's been feeling good this past, I would say, month.
Is he going to play summer league? No.
But I'm going to see what the plan is. Obviously, talk to trainers, talk to some hand specialists, see what the next step is.
So there's a possibility you might need surgery, or
We'll see. Pray I don't.
Colin, you touched on the mental aspect. Reflecting on this series against Cleveland, what do you think you and some of the other young guys on the team can really take away from that?
Sure. I don't know. Probably the biggest thing is just staying consistent with our energy, staying consistent with our principles, just not falling away from the scout, really being intentional with what we're doing on the court. Not many. We made a lot of mistakes, but
Yeah, Grady's not playing summer league either, dude.
that's warranted. It's bound to happen. So just learning how to tighten that up, and that starts with the first game of next season. Just being on it from the jump. So when we get to this position next year, we know what to do.
What are your plans for the summer?
Plans for the summer? I ain't get that far yet, but I'm definitely gonna be here a good amount. Just working with the coaches, trying to be with them as much as possible, and yeah, it's literally just work. I haven't even planned a trip to go anywhere yet.
You guys see what Toronto's like in the summertime, man.
Oh, well, yeah. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here for sure. Everybody says it's really nice out here. Yeah. It was when I was here during the when I got drafted. It was nice. A lot of people outside. City was alive for sure. So yeah, it'd be really good to experience.
Emanuel, how close were you?
I gotta tell you, Raptor fans who are already Scotty fans have gravitated towards this guy like moths to a flame. And I'm not surprised. The very same thing that would make you love one player is pretty much the same thing that would make you love the other. I totally get it.
To being able to play and just take us through that process where you had that setback and had to sit out for the series.
The first hamstring was about 3 weeks ago, and I think maybe a week and a half later, I tried to, obviously it being playoff time, tried to just get back as soon as I could, and playing some live play happened again, same spot. So unfortunate, wanted to be out there with the guys, but happened.
Did you think you would have been able to play in the second round, or was it kind of a little more seriously about
It was a little bit more serious. Obviously that it happened in the same spot. But you never know. So I was optimistic that I could maybe.
What did you take away watching the guys play during the playoffs, especially CMB?
CMB was unbelievable. His effort, energy on defense, his physicality, I think gave Cleveland a lot of problems. The way that he was rebounding, defending, I didn't even know that he had a little touch floater. He didn't show everybody that until the playoffs. So, and just his mindset to be able to come into the playoffs and play that big it shows a lot about him.
When you look at your guys' roster and say that you guys were at full health, how close do you think you are? Do you think you guys are in a team that could have a push to the finals?
I think that's why we train in the summer. That's why
I thought he was going to say they're not making it to the finals until they trade me. But
we work every single day that we do is we want to have a championship team. I feel like we have championship habits. Obviously, you need experience and you need sometimes you have to go through that failure that you don't want to go through, which sometimes is sometimes you lose, but you have to be able to get back up and you have to be able to continue to keep fighting to get back to where you want to be.
How do you think the series would have been different if you and BI were healthy? If yesterday that you guys had a combo.
Okay, I'm going to say this without trying to be too snippy or too rude. There is a loser mentality in this city that is about seeking public approval, what-ifism, and generally speaking, it's toxic. It's toxic because it is not like the mindset or mind shift that this team is going into. There is a very immediate gratification element to fandom sometimes. And when that fandom is given a megaphone, then some of the most absurd shit that you would ever hear somebody say at a bar suddenly becomes mainstream. Okay. Now I've heard some very insane things. Okay. I've heard insane things that fans say. I've heard things like Jakob Poeltl is deliberately trying to play badly. What was it? So they won't trade him. I've heard that. Now, that's a pretty crazy accusation. I've heard Brandon Ingram is struggling in the playoffs because he's too high. These are things that fans say. Okay. The what-ifism, is the can Darko coach defense? Why is Scotty taking so many threes? This is all a very reflexively stupid way to cover the team. I've been kind of railing against this particular group of voices for about 3 to 4 years. The Fred VanVleet can do no wrong, element of it. The Scotty has work ethic issues element of it. Like, there's a really weird segment of this fan base that gravitates towards the dumbest idea possible. It's like the dumber the idea, the more the gravitational force. And you gotta respect it, right? Because look, if you're dumb, if you're somebody who sits at home and spews nonsense theories and conspiracy theories about every single thing on earth, hearing somebody like an Alex Jones get on a mainstream podcast and be like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you're like, oh my God, finally someone's saying it. Right? I agree. It is brain rot, but it's also it's planting the seeds of all the things that are wrong. Brandon Ingram quit on his team. That is wrong. It's a wrong thing to say. Brandon Ingram is struggling with top blocking. That's fair. But I wouldn't be surprised if I go to Jurassic Park and I hear someone say, yo, BI quit on us. That's what fans are supposed to say. And I'm not disparaging fans. I'm not trying to discredit fans. I myself am, to some extent, a fan of this team. But I think when you have a mega platform, you have to be more responsible than some of the stuff that's been said around this team and about the players on this team, right? Especially if you're wrong. If I come out and I say Fred VanVleet's a bad leader, people want to friggin' take me to the public square and beat the shit out of me. But the truth is that has been echoed and confirmed by a lot of people. When I say Nick Nurse is bad for development, I mean, there's a reason why. Like, Masai Ujiri himself came out and said we have a selfish culture. So yeah, like, I'm getting a lot of slings and arrows for that kind of shit. But yeah, this has just been on my chest for a bit. Like, we have a really, really weird weird segment of this fan base that's gravitating towards the dumbest possible idea. And the dumbest idea possible is we didn't have a starting point guard. If we had our starting point guard, we would have whooped them. And I'm going to tell you right now, if this guy plays, maybe Scotty has a very different series. If Scotty has a different series, then CMB has a different series. Jacoby has a different series. Ingram has a different series. Everything changes. So we just got to be a little bit more reasonable. And I'm sure, you know, the Grady talk is going to get really toxic next year if he comes out and there's going to be disparaging comments about his work ethic, or does he even care about basketball and stuff. And it's just like, yo, man, I actually reached out to his trainer today and I was like, yo, come on the pod, like let's talk, right? Like he's a really great trainer. His name's Packy. And I was like, let's see if we can set this up, right? Like I don't know if he's going to agree to it or not, but I'm more invested in like the truth. If I can be real about that, like I'm very invested in the truth and trying to get down to the nitty gritty of like what is actually happening, as opposed to like fan invented conspiracy theories about work ethic and beefs and shit. No, man, like, yeah, I don't even know what I'm rambling about at this point. I just some of the shit that I hear, it's bad. It's bad.
After the game yesterday, it was like, man, it sucked not to be out there.
Yeah, I mean, my teammates did everything they could. Guys was fighting. You seen Scotty out there limping a lot. Proud of my guys, man. But obviously, I just play to win. So if anything I could have did to win, shooting, attacking the paint, same things I was doing in the regular season. Just try to do what I could from the bench, leadership, showing guys different things from the sideline, telling guys to keep shooting. When they miss a couple shots, things to look for. So I just tried to do what I could from where I was.
I saw you holding the clipboard a couple of times. Did you ever want to be coach?
Maybe, man. Maybe down the line. I don't know if I would do the NBA level, but maybe, you know, like some high school or something.
You've obviously been with RJ as a teammate the longest here. I mean, what was it like seeing him hit that shot? And how do you feel like he's maybe redefined himself a bit?
Nah, that shot was crazy. I've seen him make a shot like that when we were both in New York. But I'm really proud of RJ, just the way he has carried himself all season, the work he's put in, attention to detail every single day that he brings, and like his leadership. He's really taken another jump. Proud of him.
What were your interactions with Jamal like as he's taking more minutes and playing that guard position?
Just try to be as encouraging as I could. Anything that I seen, I tried to just help him when he's frustrated, try to put my arm around him and give him encouragement. He did an unbelievable job, especially defensively. Obviously, everybody kind of sees the offense, but the stuff that don't go into the stat sheet, the denying of the ball, the leadership in the huddle, stuff like that, he was big time for us.
Is there anything you can take away for your own development from the playoffs, even though you didn't?
I don't know who asked that question, but that is a great question, and I'm curious what he says here.
Yeah, I think obviously playing
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I
playoffs
remember
before,
this.
but just watching the series, you know, kind of up close, it was very interesting. Just seeing how guys, I think like the floor spacers, especially for them, like the Struces, the Merrills, even if they're not making shots, just the space that they provide for their teammates, the way that they got shots off real fast and were able to create closeouts and put us in closeout situations. But I'm also really proud of our guys and the way that they fought. The defensive physicality, I feel like we had kind of caught a lot of people off guard with, I don't know why, because that's who we are, honestly, is really a defensive team. But the way that we guarded, the way that we took like that defensive first mentality, I was really proud of our guys, the physicality we brought.
Do you have a sense of what the offseason will look like for you? Like if you'll be able to have a full summer of work, how much rehab is involved, or is it too early to say?
A little early to say right now, but you know, I feel like I've made jumps in every summer that I've been in the NBA, and just I'm gonna take that same approach and probably just a little bit more specific this summer. You know, trying to get better, and once I sit down and look at it, then I'll probably go from there.
Need him to get stronger. Need him to be a way better guard screener. This guy is a good basketball player. He's just like RJ, Yak, and Ingram are so good, but also so improperly used that it's almost like you need to have like a really tough conversation with all of them and just put them in better positions to succeed, right? He's a very talented player. He's not a $32 million player. Brandon Ingram's not a $40 million player. RJ's not a $30 million player. These are all like 23 to 25, 28. I don't know, somewhere between 15 to 27. Pick your poison. That's what they are. It's a bunch of Dante DiVincenzo, Ayo Dosunmu, Jaden McDaniel level talent, right? It's not a bad thing. Nobody's a star, but it's not a bad thing to have like high value players, like a bunch of Tobias Harrises. But if all Tobias Harrises are doing the wrong thing, then the whole thing doesn't work, kind of falls apart. So
when I sit down and look at it, I'll probably I'm not really sure yet, but I want to be able to, instead of working on 10 different things, being able to focus on like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty's, it's not that big a mystery how good a player he is, but when a guy does it a prolonged stretch at that level, did he kind of show you something even more, or do you think he?
This is a very interesting question because, yeah, it
kind
is.
of showed the league that this guy's a little different.
Nah, facts. But like you said, we all know how talented Scotty is. I think that his mindset is probably like one of the few players that I've ever been around, defensive first. The way that he can pass the ball, get his teammates involved, he's somebody that.
I mean, you played on the same team as Mitchell Robinson, but okay.
That's just unselfish and just wants to win, but also has like that killer mentality as well. So, he's going to find ways to get better, which I don't even know how many different ways he can get better. He's been so great this year, but, he's been great for us.
Darko says he's only 60%, so.
This is, in my opinion, this is the response. Like, I don't want to over scrutinize something and make it something bigger than it is, but listen to this response because it is basically like, okay, just tell me what you think.
Yeah, he's gonna have to dig deep to find another way to get better for him. So,
Kobe,
doubt. It's doubt. That's how we are. Okay, now on to my favorite Raptor. No, I'm just kidding. Not facts. Not facts. Jacoby, the one guy I never criticized all year.
Obviously, I presume you would think your second season went pretty well. Certainly, you made a ton of progress. But is there anything out of that playoff experience that kind of educated you to go, okay, well, here's 1, 2, 3 things I need to add to my game if I'm going to be effective or even more effective at more competitive levels?
For sure. I think, mentality-wise, I think I fit the playoffs pretty well.
I think Jamal Shedd's answer on this about accountability for Scotty was a better way to go than Emanuel Quickley. I think it's weird that anyone could watch Scotty Barnes and think he can't get better. I think, if nothing, I want him to have teammates who think he can get a lot better. So it's a little bit weird. Feels like Emanuel Quickley has a dated perception of him. I don't know.
The physicality was definitely like you can feel the difference between regular season and playoffs physicality. And, I think me getting stronger, that's always been a thing for me. Me getting stronger is definitely going to help me impact a playoff game or like just impact games at a higher level. Just especially the way I play, how hard, I want to play it defensively as well. I think that's just going to take that side of the game to a new level for me.
What does getting stronger mean for you're 21 or 22?
21.
21 for a guy who's 21. I mean, I know you've done your fair of conditioning and strength work. What does it actually mean?
It's huge. I mean,
what's the process?
Starting, I was, just talking, starting now, honestly, starting now. It starts with eating right. It starts with taking care of my body, lifting accordingly, just being efficient with everything and doing everything with intent. I think, eating is going to be the separator. Just having that consistent nutrition is definitely going to do it because, it's the NBA, it's with grown men, doing the same thing that I just said I needed to do. So it's definitely going to, take a lot of attention.
I'm sure you have the trainers and people around the team to kind of consult you on that, but is there anybody who's been through that process before? A teammate, somebody that you know in the league, is there anybody that's kind of guided you through it or that you've picked their brain a little bit just in terms of what it entails?
Yeah, more just, looking at how the vets do it, looking at people like Scotty, RJ, temp, BI, just looking at how they treat nutrition. I see when they get the extra snacks in, or they'll eat their breakfast every day. They'll eat after practice every day. Like when I see them doing stuff like that, and I see where they are in their careers.
Do me a favor and just, if you're younger than 21, sorry, ignore what I'm going to say if you're younger than 21, but just do me a favor and just, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I want you to just think about yourself when you're 21 for a second here. Just think about who you were, what kind of a fucking Ninja Turtle you were, Now imagine you're in a completely different country. You're as far away from home as humanly possible. You're living in Texas, went to high school in Texas, went to college at Baylor. Now you're in a new country, you're in your second year, and you're guarding James Harden. Like, does anyone ever stop and really think about what this guy has managed to accomplish? Does anyone stop and think what what Scotty Barnes has managed to accomplish? He was a kid from Florida State, stayed at home for college. I mean, think about Colin Murray Boyles. That's another kid. He's from South Carolina. Went to school at South Carolina. All these guys are away from home for the first time. It's the same thing with Grady. He talks about it a lot. He says he's homesick, talks about being away from Kansas for the first time. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying this is an adjustment. And it's not abnormal that any human being, even if they're a star athlete, has a difficulty adjusting away from home. So, yeah, like you have to learn new streets, new lingo, new second language, new teammates, new situation, new role. Like it's so much new. Some people they get overwhelmed. They fall into a depression. They start getting, kind of self-defeatist, maybe even self-sabotage. So when a player does that, I don't usually judge them too hard because I understand it very much. But when a player is able to bypass that and actually show up the way that he is, I have to celebrate it.
I take those little things from them just to add it to my process.
Did you have a favorite play from the season?
A favorite play?
Yeah.
My favorite play had to be the RJ shot. I mean, that was just the craziest thing I just seen, like that I've been a part of. I ain't never been a part of something like that to where like the ball really bounced up that high and still winning.
Pretty crazy. Game winner last year too.
Yeah, that was whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you envision like stepping into this role this quickly in the NBA, and also like seeing CMB and Jamal doing it as well?
He's a 5-star recruit, bro.
I mean,
he was supposed to be like a top 7 pick. Like, if we're being real about it, he slipped to 19. Don't act like he's not like. Don't act like he's just a common prospect.
Yes, honestly, kind of felt that during summer league. We all felt different on that court on summer league. Like we felt like we were more advanced than others. Just the way that we were playing and the intensity that we played with. So, I definitely envisioned this. A lot of visioning for me, visualizing for me. I didn't know it was really going to be exactly how it went, but I definitely expected us to be making an impact the way that we do as the young guys.
Jacoby, what was it like to experience a playoff level road atmosphere and a playoff level?
I mean, it was insane. It's something I needed, that experience. And, on the road, it's fun. It's so fun on the road. I feel like it's a little bit more calmer to me as just to be able to play when on the road. But the energy and excitement when you're playing at home is like, especially here in Toronto. With the fans we got the best fans in the league, hands down, because just the way that they packed out the arena, and they were loud after every bucket, every shot. It was something that I was excited for in general. I always saw it on TV, saw the clips of the fans. So just being a part of it, it's something I'm never going to forget.
I know you take so much pride in your defense, the series that you did last night. But, have you thought about how you were able to go up against a guy like Donnie Mitchell and the job that you did be such a factor on that end?
That's something I kind of hold myself to anyway. I don't want to back down from nobody, and I just kind of want to take the challenge regardless. I feel like that was a good test to just see where I'm at, in my career and what I need to work on defensively. You know, guarding someone like Donovan Mitchell, one of the best scorers in the league, and then James Harden, we know what he does in his history. So, you know, it was a good test for me, but, you know, looking back on it, I have a lot of things to take away and learn from that I got to apply for this next year.
They share any words with you?
Yeah, you know, they just told me keep going. You know, they liked how I played them. You know, they gave me encouraging words that I'm not ever gonna forget hearing it from, you know, future Hall of Famers like them. You know, we just had a quick talk, but you know, they just gave me some encouraging words for my future, and they like where I'm at right now.
Jacoby, you started the season a little bit slowly from the three, but then you obviously got like super hot, especially second half of the season, and that carried over to the postseason. I mean, it's one game I think you took 14 threes, you know, and can you speak to like how you built that level of confidence and the amount of work that went into that?
You know, big shout out to my teammates, coaches. You know, they really, I can't really explain how much they really helped me mentally going through that stretch. You know, after like they see the work I put in every day. They know what I'm capable of doing, but they always reminded me like, don't ever be shy to shoot the ball. Like, you know, even if I'm missing the shots, they still say good shot, shoot the ball every time. And I think it really started with like RJ, BI telling me like, if you don't shoot this ball, I'm gonna get mad at you. Just stuff like that. It kind of just changes your mentality. And then, you know, when you see a couple go in and you start to build that confidence and
WRJ and BI. I've always said that Brandon Ingram's impact on Jakob Poeltl was really underrated. It's nice to hear him say that, but also RJ Barrett. Like those are guys that, I mean, whether you have issues with them or not, like those are still stamped guys in the league. Those are notable players in the league. When guys like James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, you know, Greg Popovich, icons, really icons, because you've kind of seen them being celebrated. Like this is where I say, like, how the league is starting to view Scotty, how ESPN is going to talk about Scotty is going to change how his teammates view him as well. This is why I push as hard as I do, because I need the mainstream to talk about him that way, because I need his teammates to see him that way so they can hold him accountable for that shit. So it's just like, you know, when you see a guy in practice and he's hitting threes and he's a good shooter and you can see his form, you can see Grady's form too. Like, I mean, these are good jump shooters. Jameson Battle, this is a good jump shooter. So the fact that the Raptors struggle from three is kind of crazy to me, because they're 3-point shooters. Like, there are 3-point shooters on this team. Like, you know, it's not like we are not Detroit. Okay. Like, we're not Detroit. Our 3-point shooters don't take enough shots. Fine. They take bad shots. Fine. They don't play enough. Fine. You know, there's elements, but there's shooting talent on this team. There's like 6 guys that I really trust as shooters on this team, and 2 or 3 guys that I think can develop into better shooters. So, yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, Brandon Ingram, like that dude, he has a gravitas to him. So does RJ. So does Scotty. So when one of these 3 guys are going to come to you and be like, yo, Jacoby, yo, young dog, yo, 19th overall pick, we need you to do this, do that, that feels significant, as opposed to when Jamal Shad is saying it to you. Whereas that feels like one of my contemporaries, you know? Contemporaries versus superiors is what I'll say.
You know, hear your coaches say shoot the ball, players say shoot the ball. It just kind of, you know, you can't help but to think like, okay, like I'm an elite shooter at this point. So every time I got space, you know, I gotta let it fly, and that's what I just kind of ended up doing. And with the work that I put in consistently, it just all came together at the right time.
Knowing that you did that, does it sort of, as you go into the summer, is it like, well, I better have some counters ready because, you know, now probably from October 20th, they're going to be closing out pretty hard.
Yeah, kind of started to change. The closeout started to change for sure towards the end of the season, especially in the playoff series. So, you know, just adding like nothing crazy, just like quick things, you know, pump fakes, high steps, you know, one dribble pull-ups, stuff like that. Just simple things I can add to my game just to create space.
Well, what's it feel like, you know, the day after, probably, you know, on some level we're hoping that you be playing tomorrow night?
Right. Yeah. I feel like that we all were anxious and felt like that we could have did a lot more. But, you know, overall, I think that, especially considering our circumstances and, you know, the injuries we had, I think we were all just excited that we fought the way we did, you know, and that we, accomplish more than what people were trying to give us. I think that we went and took some games and we really fought, and I think that was really, really awesome, and I'm glad that our team was together through it all.
Is there something maybe this series taught you that you wouldn't have known, say, right at the end of the regular season?
How good Scotty Barnes is, I'd say. I mean, Scotty kind of turned it up a little bit during the playoffs. He was ultra aggressive every play, and he averaged the most points, most assists, most rebounds, also 2 or 3 steals, 2 blocks. Like, dude was everywhere. So just, what he can be, and like when people say playoff riser, I think Scotty Barnes is at that top of the list.
Can he balance that, like, through 82 games? Obviously, not every 82 games is going to be like that. It's a long season, but can he balance, like, close to that level?
I think anything is possible for him. I think that could be his next step. I think that's a lot for certain people, but I think Scotty could do it. I think, he has the endurance and he has the want to be that forceful every night for 82 games. So if anybody can do it, I think he can.
I mean, as teammates, having seen it up close in the relationship you guys all have, is it almost up to you guys sometimes to hold them to it?
Right.
Because it's like really, really hard.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of what our people have been looking for.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point, and that's a credit to how close we are. Is that we can hold each other to that standard and hold each other accountable like that. Because Scotty does it for us. I think Scotty pushes us as a leader and with his voice, and gets a lot out of his guys. I think we got to do the same for him when we see that he's not up to the level that we see he can be at.
With IQ and BI being out, obviously everything went out, the responsibilities for you and everything. What's being thrown into the fire like that in the playoffs? What can that do for you, like, going forward in your career?
I mean, man, it was so fun. I think, being nervous and having that, experience out the gate for our first playoff experience was awesome. And I think that, we should just only try to learn from it. I think that, maybe I'm not playing 30 to 40 minutes again next year, but how can I maximize and how can I, have that same impact that I had, especially on the defensive end, and, just be that excited for that opportunity again. I think, we all kind of not regret, but we all wish we could have did more in that Game 7. But, I think looking forward to next year, just how we can put ourselves in a better position, even regular season, just, trying to grow from it.
Jamal, what are you trying to work on this offseason?
I think mainly my paint finishing and then, just obviously 3-point shooting, but still getting to know the guys on my team what their strengths are. I think me and Jacoby got a little bit going towards the end of the year. I had a lot of good moments with Colin, a lot of good moments with Sandro. I think just learning not just the bench guys this upcoming year, but learning how to play with everybody and just learning their strengths. So just, obviously my scoring ability, but, still maximizing the guys around me.
For your rookie class, I was talking to Jacoby about it the other day. It's just like, it's kind of crazy that you guys just came in last year and then you guys are playing in these high-intensity games. Did you guys ever have a moment where you guys stepped back and go like, wow, like I had a moment, like Jameson had a moment, like Jacoby had a moment, all these, and CMP, obviously not your rookie class, but a lot of young guys contributing. That's very rare for a class.
Yeah, I mean, we had a point in time where there were 3 starters from this summer league team and then a bench guy with Scotty in the playoff game. And I think it was Game 6. Like, that's something that you just hope that can happen, but like you try to take advantage of that opportunity, and I think we did. And I think the thing about that is that, like, you never know when your opportunity will come. So like guys like AJ and JB who, played 10 minutes in Game 6, those were really important 10 minutes and they were ready for their opportunity. So just trying to stay ready whenever the opportunity presents itself, really.
Jamal became one of the most impressive passers in the NBA this year. Truly ridiculous. Rim assists, everything was crazy. Where he suffers, obviously, is as a rebounder, clearly as a rebounder, but in terms of forcing turnovers, getting deflections, this guy had a very positive impact for a 6-foot guard defensively. He was one of your better defenders, and he's 6 feet tall. He's not a defensive liability. So right now, we are talking about a 3-point shot away from being a $10 million bench guard. That's really where he's at. His 3-point attempt rate, obviously, very impressive. 66th percentile in terms of the amount of threes he's willing to take. So now it's just a matter of bumping that true shooting up. If he bumps that true shooting up, he goes straight from maybe he's a rotation player in the NBA to he is definitively a rotation player on almost every single team. He is one jump shot away from literally changing everything. And obviously he's going to have to get stronger and keep getting stronger, but geez, like this guy is good. He's a good basketball player.
Obviously, Sandro can become a free agent if he wants. RJ's got a year left. How much are you hoping that like the group is allowed or has a chance to stick together and keep building?
Man, you know, obviously we built something really, really close knit this year. And, you know, if I have the opportunity to play with Sandro again in the future, if I have the opportunity to play with RJ, of course I want to. But, you know, their futures are their futures, so I'll just be ready to go if they're ready to go.
Jamal, obviously,
I'll be ready to go if they're ready to go. I do not understand that completely, but I did want to post I wanted to post Jacoby's crafted profile here as well. So this is Jacoby's, right? Now with Jacoby, I think the true shooting, 3-point attempt rate, shot quality were ridiculous and really good. The point of attack stuff was amazing. Where does he need to work most is getting stronger, right? And I'm sure we'll do a season report card of what every single player needs to work on type of episode. But this is what I would talk about in that episode is Jakobe Walter needs to get stronger. Jakobe Walter needs to get better off the dribble. His creation and load was very low, which means his usage was primarily, you know, spot up. And if he wants to be a more dynamic player off the dribble, off the catch, like if he wants to be a better finisher, all these things are just going to make his shooting so much better. So at this point, he has a decision. You want to be more, I don't want to say Devin Booker because that's just a very, very high ceiling to achieve, but do you want to be a more complete basketball player? Do you want to be like a more defensively slanted Norman Powell? You know, do you want to be someone like a Tyler Hero, or do you want to completely relegate yourself to a completely, you know, role player trajectory like a Contavious Caldwell-Pope? In either case, these are draft picks that are successful. You can't point to it any other way. These are very successful draft picks, 100%. So it's cool to see.
both teams protected on the court really well. What's maybe one big thing that you would take away on what needs to improve on the road?
Oh, honestly, just carrying our defense with us. I don't think we had one game in Cleveland where we had the defensive effect that we had here at home. And I think that we've shown that we can take it on the road. I think we just got to do it in the playoffs. And I think that we're very capable. I think with Scotty at the forefront of that, we're capable of a lot of things, especially with how hard he plays. And then you got CMB, and then you got this, that. I think we can do it. So I think that's just the one thing that I would say going forward is just making sure that we can carry our defense with us in the playoffs.
Jamal, you picked up a lot of IQ's minutes. Given
I also want to do one quick one here, and this is Colin Murray-Boyles. So Colin Murray-Boyles already is an all-league type of defender. He's going to have to become a better rebounder. We saw that kind of show up in Game 4, you know, where I think his inability to get rebounds while playing defense inherently, I think that's part of the fact that he was on the perimeter so much, but he just wasn't the most dominant defensive rebounder. He is a very decent offensive rebounder. So at this point, where do I want to see this go up? Well, here's already some huge positives. He's insanely efficient for a rookie. He didn't start that way, but he finished that way. So he got better as the season went on. Always something you want to see for players, right? Number 2, his deflection rate is off the fucking charts. 95th percentile in deflections for a big man rookie, like, or a big wing rookie, depending on how you want to view him, is amazing. His rim frequency and overall rim defense were commendable. So basically, this is a guy who, once again, just like Jamal Shed, is one jump shot away from possibly having like an all-star season within a couple of years. Like, this is truly elite shit. I can't remember the last Raptor rookie that was this really just valuable. I do know Raptor rookies that might have been better technically, but not valuable. In terms of value, I always, you know, say like the utility part is very important for me. And he is one of the most useful rookies, period. So shout outs to all three, Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, and Colin Murray Boyles. They took huge steps.
His injury. Earlier, he mentioned you did an unbelievable job. Just what does it mean to hear or get praise from a guy who's been around as long as Quickley has?
Yeah, I mean, credit to him too. Like anything that he saw or anything that he felt needed to be said, you know, he brought it to me, whether it was timeouts, whether it's pulling me aside, free throws, or just yelling certain things out. You know, I think that he kept my mental into it a lot. Missing shots, not making shots, just being present in the moment. He was a great leader, and, you know, it really helped me excel. So I think that, you know, when you have a guy like that who's also helping you, but also wanting you to succeed in whatever you're doing, it really helps. Spend some time with family and just get back in the gym, man. Get ready for next year. I think that, you know, we showed that we have something here and it's time to capitalize on it. So just try to grow and move forward and try to do better next year. We'll see. I don't know if Darko wants everybody to come out there and get a little hefty. So we'll see. You know, Texas barbecue is a little different. So we'll see.
Sort of like your first year where you were like a big part of rotation.
Yeah. I found this, I watched a bit of Sandro's interview earlier as well. I found this to be very insightful in terms of, number one, he re-explained, I don't know if this has been like publicly said. I've said it definitely on these lives that he was offered more money by other teams, but he chose this opportunity to sort of bet on himself a little bit. So there's no expectation that because he took a minimum contract last year that he's about to double down and take another minimum contract. Like, he got a lot better. So this is definitely a guy who's going to be in the 5 to 10, maybe $5 to $12 million range. And knowing the Raptors' propensity to overpay guys, like, if you're going to want him back, you're probably going to have to overpay him. Like, you're probably going to get him at 11 times 3, you know, like 11 times 3 with a player option in year 3. And yeah, I think he's very valuable to what the Raptors do. And I think he's a player who's going to get better. So personally, I would hate to see him go, but I understand if he asks for 12, 13, 14, that he's just pricing him out.
A team that was, you know, had aspirations of doing what they ended up doing. How did you feel like you fit into that environment?
I think it was a great year. You know, it didn't end how we wanted to, but we definitely took strides starting from summer till like the end of the Game 7. Personally, for me, it was my first year being a rotational player, and like, I think I'm very excited for the summer. You know, this is going to be the first summer where I exactly know what I have to work on to get myself to next level, I would say. And, you know, I'm excited to attack those points and be better. So, you know, before I would work on everything, you know, you got to.
When I show you his crafted profile, yeah, prepare your faces for shocked.
You just want to get better. Now I feel like I want to get better at a few things, and that's going to be my kind of like goal. So, but other than that, like, I think it was a good year. I think I kind of like found myself, established myself, and I can only get better.
What were those two things?
I know you would ask me that. So, of course, my body. I want to work on my core. I want to work on my balance. I want to work on strength, as well as kind of, you know, being quicker, moving quicker, and making sure, like, you know, I play a lot of closeouts, so making sure like I'm a guy who can catch and shoot, but at the same time be a threat closeout wise and play off 2 feet. So I feel like those things will kind of like help me, and you know, shooting. So everything I said right now, like, that's what I'll focus on, and of course everything else will come with it. But I think those are the main things I want to kind of like really dig deep.
You found a great rhythm with the team, like, basically immediately in the regular season.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it was like a little harder to adjust.
For sure.
What was your perspective on that? Like, how did it feel being out there in the playoffs?
It was a little tougher. I think I was kind of trying to find my place and find like little cracks and spaces where I can kind of play off closeouts or, you know, just play my game, which was I don't know. It was tougher in the playoffs. A lot of times, like, you know, I was kind of like in a corner trying to figure out how can I get myself involved, it was tougher. But at the same time, you know, I was trying to do other things like rebound and run, and even like certain things like people don't really pay attention to is like just getting to the corner and making sure the spacing is right, and you know, little things. I wanted to have a better playoffs, of course, and that's going to be the goal going forward because I want to make playoffs every year. But you know, it's something, you know, that I couldn't control, and I tried to control what I could most and be positive. And you know, I think overall. We got to Game 7. I think some guys stepped up, and you can you know, in the beginning of the year you would say we would not be there. So you know, definitely wish that I know that next playoffs I'll be more impactful.
What are, if you do become a free agent, what would be your priorities and what you're looking for?
So, like, I think a lot of people don't know. Like last year. I got offered a lot more like money to play. I mean, to be at other teams. But to me, the main priority, as I said, is as I'm a basketball player, I'm a competitor. I want to win and I want to be part of something. So I think this summer will be the same thing, kind of understanding where I fit the best and what role I can play, you know, and hopefully it's going to be here. I really want to be back. I love Toronto. I love people. I love the organization and Coach Darko. I think he was a guy who gave me a chance to go out there and be myself. And as I said, I really believe that there is only so much more I can do and better I can get. So I think main thing is like kind of understanding that now, since understanding that I belong here and I can be an NBA player, NBA rotational guy, I want to just keep it that way. And I want to have the best possible way to go out there and get better next year.
Sandro, what did you find as the main difference between trying to get involved and get your shots offensively in the regular season versus the playoffs?
So one thing I'll say is like regular season, I played a lot of five, and our offense is designed to be like where five men touches the ball a lot. So I feel like that kind of made it so much easier for me to get involved, like even in delays or, you know, snaps and everything we ran, like you touch the ball and then you make a decision. You want to roll, you want to pop, you know, like at the four, I love playing the four. I think that's my position. But, you know, a lot of times it was so much harder for me to kind of get involved into the plays. And, you know, especially with Quick going down, now it got even tougher, you know. So I would say, like, for me, it's kind of like watching a lot of film at the four and understanding, like, how can I kind of find my rhythm and find them little gaps where I can be more impactful, even if it's cutting or staying in a corner. I think a lot of times, like, I would cut and I should have stayed in the corner, or I would stay in the corner where I should cut. And, you know, I think that kind of comes with experience, you know. As I said, like, playing flip-flopping, like, I got so used to kind of, like, being that guy where, like, the ball just finds you, you know, and then you kind of, like, play with it. And, you know, I think I can dribble, I can shoot. I think I can, when I rebound the ball, I can push it. And I think like that all kind of like I would have flashes where I do it. I would have flashes where like now I'm like, okay, I think I got to give it up. So kind of understanding that I can do it and kind of like being more comfortable doing it. But I would say those are the main things.
There were times this season as well where you played the three of it.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it. Like, to be honest, like playing at this level was been a dream of mine, and going out there and competing is always like the best thing you can do as a player. So I always told myself whatever position I'll play, I'll just go out there and try to do my best. And even if it's just going out there and as I said, like not being as involved is cool. Like I'm a player who has energy, who has motor. Like I want to go rebound. I want to do other things that, you know, that little dirty work. So whatever position I have to play, I will, and that's the best thing about this summer is I can get so much better in different aspects. And coming back, I can play different positions. If you want to go small, 5. If you want to go big, I can play the 4-3. So that's the main goal of kind of like also like watching a lot of film and studying what I can do better.
What Colin did give you I mean, if you're here,
yeah,
give you insight into like how you might be used.
How are these players comparable
Going forward?
I think one thing like about our style of play is like we like to run. We like to push. I think coach like he doesn't really like put like the label of like you're a 5, you're a 4. Like he just lets you rock, and I think that's the best thing. Like you can go big, you can go small. Like I think you can do so many other things with the roster. So I don't know how it's gonna go, but whatever I have to do to play and whatever I have to do to help the team win, I'll do it. Huh? The summer plans. Well, I'll definitely go to Georgia. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I miss Georgian food. So I'll go out there and spend few weeks there. But then I'm coming back to New Jersey. I'll be staying in New Jersey and working hard until July. So we'll see. Hopefully everything goes as planned, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't sound like he's coming back, bro. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't. I didn't get the impression of like I think I'm coming back. But that's probably good poker by him. Him coming out and saying like, oh, I really, really want to be back. I love it here so much. Blah 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 blah. Please bring me back. He knows he's got options. He's got like 18 teams that are going to be banging on his door, offering him $5, $8, $10 million. And some of those teams are bad. Some of those teams are going to be like the Brooklyn Nets or something like that. So it's going to be a tough player to replace. It kind of sucks that the Raptors finally got a viable free agent, and you're probably going to lose him after 1 year. But brace yourself for that. You're probably going to have to replace him in the draft, maybe. Or maybe, you have a 6'8", 6'9" sharpshooter that you spent, the 13th overall pick on, 6'8", and maybe he can replace him a little bit, because I do think Grady has a lot in common with him, with the exception of, obviously, Grady is nowhere near this as a defender, right? People criticized Mamu's defense all year. You have to understand, as a center, he really gave you a lot, man. He gave you a lot of value from the center position, from passing to shooting to transition. He was like a wing, he put so much pressure on the other team. You look at lineup synergy with him and some of your best players, like he unlocked so many lineups. So look, man, like you could really make a legitimate argument he was like a top 110 player in the league this year, easily. And I've never really understood the fans that disrespected him. But trust me, like it's not just the numbers. Like the eye test confirms, like he really good, man. He's really good. Ashley said the New Jersey comment says he's not coming back. No, that's not it. Dudes have what was called home base in the off season. Some guys will go back home. Some guys will, they'll go to LA, work with a trainer. Some guys will go to Texas, work with that trainer. Yeah, like some guys go back to Europe. Like, Nikola Jokic, he goes to Europe. Doesn't mean he's not coming back to the Denver Nuggets. So I think for him, him saying he's going to New Jersey, that's probably where his home base is. So yeah, he grew up in the tri-state area. He grew up in New York, New Jersey area. So that's just, that's gonna be home cooking for him. And that's good home base for him, right? If he's staying in Toronto, is kind of gonna make the same mistake that Jeff Doughton made, in my opinion. So yeah, in terms of like one thing that I wish every single player on this team could get better at. I mean, there's a lot of things I wish players on this team would get better at. In my honest opinion, I wish players on this team would get better at, I wish Grady would get stronger, obviously become a better shooter. I wish Jamison Battle will work on his defensive technique, get a little bit stronger. Probably Jamison and Grady by committee can replace some of, what Mamu does, but less defensively focused. So you think about a front court next year of like, at least off the bench, an optimized version of Grady plus Jamison plus CMB plus rim running big. Like, do you have enough spacing, creation? If CMB is the hub, if Jacoby, Grady, guys like this can come in off the bench and be something like, if Jacoby could shift over to being a guy who can play some point guard minutes, that could also be huge for you. So yeah, there's like a lot of development. And the cool thing is we're in May, June, July, August, September, October. You don't play preseason until September, October. So you got 4 months right now. And you're young, right? Thoughts on Zach Collins? as a backup big target. Yeah. You mean John Collins? Or you mean Zach Collins? Who do you mean? Like, I mean, he's almost always injured, right? Like, let me just see his numbers this year. He's literally injured right now. He's out for the season. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's played 36 games, 28 games, and 10 games for the last 3 years. I mean, if you're talking about a guy on a minimum contract, yeah, sure. Sure. But yeah. John Collins is derpy. What does derpy mean? Very interesting. 5 Adam. Does RJ have trade value on draft night? No, not really. I think it's interesting. RJ and both RJ and Brandon Ingram, alongside Jakob Poeltl, Emanuel Quickley, these are all to put it nicely, they're at best neutral assets, at worst negative assets. So these are definitely players that you would have to add value to get off of right now. So you better just use them. Derpy is low basketball IQ. Oh, okay. Slow cities will finally lose teams. I don't understand that. Gabe saying Ant going crazy. Yeah, he is. He has the Minnesota Timberwolves up 4 with 6.5 to go. I think I'm going to be on the panel tomorrow. So, I hit record on this game, but I'm going to go check out the end of it. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Obviously, shout outs to the Toronto Raptors. Hell of a season. And as I said many times already, nothing to hang your hat on, nothing to hang your head about, nothing to feel sad about. It's just, it was a cool season. It was a cool season from start to finish. And I feel like these exit interviews make the whole thing a little bit more resolute, if that makes sense. Like, you kind of get like the full, okay, it's over now. You know what I mean? So it's cool. Did you talk about Masai? I did not. So yes, he's on the thumbnail for a reason. Masai Ujiri got his new gig as the head honcho in Dallas. Man, you got to think about the league office and how much they are instrumental sometimes in these hirings and how much they might be suggesting certain guys to certain positions. Adam Silver and Masai Ujiri's relationship goes back like 15 years at this point. So, it's a good relationship. Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks, they have potentially another top 5 pick coming up right now. I'm thinking if Masai is there, if conspiracies are at all to be believed, expect the Dallas Mavericks to get a top 3 pick in this year's draft. But even if they don't, I think Masai's got a lot to build with. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously from a Raptors perspective, it sucks because he's probably better than Bobby Webster, and you pretty much paid him this year to sit at home to appease Ed Rogers' ego. And on top of that, you've just added a competent general manager in a league where you want as many incompetent general managers to deal with. So it also sucks that there's a couple of players on the Dallas Mavericks team that I really like. Najee Marshall, obviously Derek Lively, but Kyrie Irving. These are all players that I actually wanted on the Raptors at some point or another in the last year. So maybe Masai being there helps facilitate a deal, but obviously, optically speaking, he's probably not making a deal with the Raptors for the first 5 years. So, yeah. AJ26er said, Euro coaches about to get promo over colonial mindset coaching. Huh? I don't understand this, but thank you for the Serbian flag. I disagree. Masai firing by Raptors. What? So no more Kyrie. It's going to be hard to get Kyrie, dude. It's just optically speaking, he would have to absolutely destroy us in a trade to pull off a trade, if that makes sense, right? It's just really hard for him to pull off a trade with his former team where he has so many ties and he, is part of the ownership group on the Toronto Tempo side. And then it just ends up being one of those very slanted trades where everyone's like, oh, why did they trade Kyrie Irving for a 2nd round pick and Emanuel Quickley? Do you know what I mean? So unless it's an absolute home run pick, I just And obviously, I don't want to make any home run picks for them, right? So it's a little bit tough. But nevertheless, congratulations to Masai Ujiri. I hate that ownership group with a sincere passion. I've read a lot about them over the last few years. I wished better for Masai. I kind of wish that he would take over Miami or Orlando or, somewhere better than that. There are openings. Let's just be real. Denver has an opening right now. I mean, Denver should have an opening. They don't, but they should. There's a lot of teams that I would have rather he gone to, but hey, man, Cooper Flag is in a good place. That's good to see. So yeah. From Nico Harrison to Masai doing insider trading trades for us, I fuck with it. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. It's hard. Just again, the optics of the NBA do not allow a player, a man to trade with his former employer without people stoking the flames of conspiracy. He gave them, extra picks or whatever. It's just bad. So, yeah. And I really wanted Kyrie Irving on this team. So, yeah. I think a lot of people are right now talking about Kevin Durant potentially being on this team. That's tough. To me, that's really tough at this point. But maybe the Raptors should explore it. I've been a proponent for bringing Kevin Durant multiple times, but it seems like every time he goes to a team, that team ends up hating him completely. So, and the fan base turns on him. So, this might just be a Kevin Durant had 14 bad roommates. Maybe Kevin Durant's the problem type of situation. But man, it sucks to see one of my favorite players go out sad like this. And I certainly see all the ways that Scotty could make him like have the best season possible at the age of 37, 38. But yeah, Gabe said I'm good off KD. Yeah, that seems to be the dominant narrative right now. But very often, like the value you're going to find is in usually the player whose stock is taking the biggest beating. And I feel like KD's stock took a really big beating between the Twitter fiasco and, him sitting out the playoffs, getting injured, spraining his ankle, not coming back, his teammates kind of hating him. I feel like, okay, sometimes the stock is down for a reason because it deserves to be down. But sometimes the stock is down because it's just beaten unfairly. And again, from a talent perspective, I just cannot imagine a better player than Kevin Durant coming to this team. So, yeah. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Make sure to hit like on your way out. Peace, enjoy, and salute to the Raptors. Peace, man.